Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible. The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning? Are you excited for the next lesson?
Yeah.
Or do you want us to go back to the last lesson and see if you still remember? Huh? Are you sure you still remember what you studied previously?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm back again. My name is Julian Kairanda. I work with the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda. And today's session, I'm going to take you through entrepreneurship, but mostly focused on how to use your money to make money, becoming your own boss. So how do you become an entrepreneur? What are the processes? What is the thought process of you becoming an entrepreneur? What are the areas to venture into? What are the businesses? Sometimes people think being an entrepreneur is putting up a huge business, but we have actually very, very small businesses that have started small and they have actually grown into big businesses. So we are going to explore, we are going to look at how you can save your money, invest, and be able to give back. So today we are going to look at some of the components of that. And then next Thursday, we are also going to look at other components. So what we are going to focus on today is micro-entrepreneurship. How do you start a small business? Micro, you know the meaning of micro? What is the meaning of micro? Small. Yeah, so how do you start a small business? Entrepreneurship is vast, it's a big idea. But there are different components in it. So there are small enterprises, there are medium enterprises, and there are huge entities. But for the sake of this lesson, we are going to look at the micro or the small enterprises and how those can help you to make money. In the previous lessons, we looked at savings. We looked at investments. We looked at how cash flows are managed. We looked at how you budget. So now we are looking at if you have done all that and you have invested, what can you invest in at a micro level, at a small level? Okay? So one of the things that I wanted to highlight is that the common mindset is that we need to work hard to make money. And people have worked hard all their lives to make money, right? But you work hard, let's say you start now after senior 6, you start working hard, and you reach 60 years and you're still working hard, and money has not yet become enough. Okay, well, there's not enough money. Well, every time you think you have enough money, you want more, your needs become more. Siko bigenda. Buruko ujenza utera imbere ukira niko n'ibyifuzo bizamuka. So, but what we need to shift in the mindset is that we need to start to think, how do we make our money work for us? That's where investments come in. Invest your money and it produces more wealth for you. That is using your money to work for you. Or investing it in a business and making sure that that business is thriving, the business is building more wealth for you. So that's how you use your money to make money. So the mindset we need to first change or shift or understand is that we need to start using our money, however much it is. How do you make it produce more money? So work for you, right? And actually, many of the biggest, what we usually call the rich people around the world, do you usually see the ranking? There's usually a ranking of rich people around the world. And they tell you this one is worth billions, this one is worth millions. The founders of the big companies, of Google, of Apple, of Netflix, all these big guys, they've reached a point where the money works for them because they've done the investments. They invested in business, they invested in people, they invested in infrastructure, and that helps them. Now the money keeps multiplying, or it is producing more products for the market. And the more we consume, for them, they're already making money. So that's how we need to think. How do you make sure that you invest in the right thing? Or how do you identify the right business that will help you to actually continuously produce more money? So the new thinking is that we need to make our money work for us, which is exactly what I was talking about. It is not about stopping, and it is not being too comfortable and thinking, now I have made enough money, I'm comfortable. No, it's not about that. Even if you're in the job, you can still make your money work for you. You can take your salary, save, invest, and still that money is made while you're also still doing this job. So it's not about you just being a business person and maybe not having a job. It could be both. It could be that you're in the job and you're using your salary or your savings to make more money. It could be that you've set up a business and you're running that business efficiently to make sure that it's producing more money. Or it could be both. Some people have more than 2 businesses, and they still move. So there's a famous Japanese author called Robert Kiyosaki. He said that the rich don't work for money; they make money work for them. So that's the idea. You take the money, you take the investments, and how do you continuously invest and continuously use it to produce more money? So having said that, what do we mean by micro-entrepreneurship? Just exactly you said. Small businesses, small scale, usually informal businesses that you start with a small amount of money. You don't need a lot of capital to invest to start small. What we call micro enterprises, and anyone can start them, and money that can easily be injected into that business. It's really more about taking onions that I'm growing, but you don't start with 1 acre. Because you don't have the capacity to actually start with 1 acre. So you start with what you have. So taking the initiative, taking the first step, and thinking, let me start small and just keep growing. As long as I am managed, maybe you have seen on the market and said, in Timirongo, we don't have people who supply biscuits, for example, to schools. Or nobody supplies milk to the schools or donuts. So you decide, I'm going to start small. I'm going to start making the donuts that are enough for the entire school, And whatever money I get from that, I reinvest again so that I keep increasing my capacity to supply. You move from one school, you go to another, move from one school. So by the time maybe you're 3 years down the road, you're supplying maybe about 3 schools. So your capital has grown, your ability to supply has grown, and you're investing more but also saving more, right? And you're providing employment. So, so you could start as one person, but before you know it, you have employed about 10 people. Because of the business. Remember, there's one who is cooking, there's one who is supplying, there's one maybe who is packaging, there's a cashier who is getting the money, depending on how you want your business to look out. The other thing also is that sometimes we may think we need certain skills to actually start a business. But remember, everybody has a certain skill. You might think of the idea, but you don't know how to implement it. So if you have an idea and you don't know how to implement it, what do? No. You have the idea and you have the money to start. What do? But you don't have the skills to implement it.
You seek for ideas.
Exactly. So you seek support. Somebody else maybe has done it before, or somebody else has done something else, but they know the skills on how to actually run a small business.
Mentors.
So you get a mentorship, yes. So you could get mentorship, you could get support for a certain period of time. So that guidance, you seek that guidance to be able to also gain the skills. And sometimes some people even start learning some of those skills. So you can learn from somebody, you could learn online, you could learn whatever it is, but you have to leverage the skills that you have and what other people have that you might not have, so that you're able to build on that. And then, of course, identify how to scale the business. So like I was saying, if you've decided you're going to sell donuts to a school, do you want to start selling to 50 students? Do you want to increase and sell to 100 students? Or do you want to take over all the schools in Chimirong? So you have to sit down and think, where do I want to be in the next 6 to 1 year or even 2 years? Do I want to move from one point to another, or I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I'll just apply one school and that money is enough? So as a business person, you have to think of scaling. Scaling means increasing your capacity to build your business, to increase the supplies, become bigger. So those are some of the things that are the basis for being an entrepreneur at a very small scale or at a micro level. And so thinking, and it doesn't matter what idea it is, the money doesn't have to be a lot. You just have to understand, is this idea relevant to what I'm going to do? Is this business relevant to the area that I'm targeting, the market that I'm targeting, and what plans do I have in terms of scaling it? Some people start businesses, small businesses, and they're comfortable. They don't. And yet, if you actually keep improving and increasing, do you guys know Nyirangarama? Do you know how big his businesses are? Do you know some of his products? You say Ndagusa. He has juice, he has biscuits, he has urgwagwa, he has
mayonnaise. What?
Sorry?
Mayonnaise.
Yes, exactly. Oh, now he has mayonnaise as well.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I didn't even know. He has put up schools and hospitals where he comes from. So, but that is how he actually started. He didn't start as big as he is today, but he kept improving and producing one product, another product, another product, and now he's one of the richest men in Rwanda. So sometimes when you look at some of these people who have actually carried out very lucrative businesses or very good businesses, we think, oh, they had a lot of money, they started out very nicely. But no, everybody starts at some point. So when you hear his story, you'll understand how he started. And he's employing, thousands and thousands of people. He has put up schools in his hometown. He has put up hospitals. Exactly, he's supporting farmers. And the people that are in his area, he employs people that are in his area, okay? And everybody is doing something and focusing on something. Those people, I'm sure, are also learning from him. They might leave and go and start their own businesses at some point, if they have saved and they are going to be able to invest. So it's important that you don't think of your business as just something small that is helping you to survive. Think of it in terms of how do I want to move it from micro to macro, you know, to large businesses. And of course, as it grows, you have more advantages. You have more access to capital, you have more access to skilled people, you have more access to more infrastructure. So you keep building on that, and more things come. But the moment you keep it small, then you keep accessing small things. But some people have actually even maintained the small businesses, and they just keep producing other small businesses. So today you do the donut small business, tomorrow you do the milk small business. So a combination of all those businesses is actually makes everything large. Yeah, because every business is bringing in some little money. So any questions around that before we move to the next?
What is the meaning of income streams?
Income streams. So income streams means anything that is bringing you money. So for example, if you have a job, your salary is an income stream. If you have a small business, like I was saying, that is bringing you money, that you're making money from, that's an income stream. If you have maybe a shareholder of a certain organization, do you know what it means to be a shareholder of an organization or a company? Yeah, so let's say I have a company and I say, you guys come and buy shares. So out of the 100 shares, maybe I give you 20, 20, 20, 20, okay? That means that every amount of money that we make, after all the expenses, and we have cleared all the expenses, every shareholder gets, if we have made a profit, every shareholder gets a certain percentage of amount of money, okay? So that money for you comes as a revenue. You could save it, you could invest it, you could reinvest it in the company again, you do whatever it is that you want to do with them, with that amount of money. So the revenue streams means every source of income that you have. Is it clear? Yeah. Any other question? Okay. Okay. So why money working for us matters for micro entrepreneurs is that working for money means that you have an income. You have an active income. It means that you have some source of revenue or revenue stream that we are talking about. So the time that you invest in that should bring you returns. There's money, but there's also the time. So for example, we were talking about capital markets the other day, or investing in bonds and all those investments that we're talking about. Usually, it depends on how much time you want to give it. When it comes to long-term investments, it means that you have to give yourself more time for it to give you a very good return, for it to give you good return on investment. If it is short time, you get limited amount of return on investment. So it depends on what you really want to invest in. If it's a small business that is going to give you quick returns, that's a short-term investment. If you're going to look at a long-term investment, then that also, like people who invest in land, that's a long-term investment, okay? Because land, the value of land appreciates, it increases. So if you have land today, in the next 5 to 10 years, it will probably have multiplied by 3 or 4, or even 5 sometimes. So your property has increased in value, and therefore if you want to sell it at some point, it brings you more returns. But if you want to invest in, what can you give as an example of a short-term investment?
Short-term investment, like keeping a bank block Brazil.
Ego. Mm.
They give out interest
Mm.
on a year basis. So they give like 8%. So you can invest in that, so you can get that 8%.
Exactly. So the bank broker or the what do you call it in English? Yeah, but that one. So if you keep your money in the bank for a short period of time and you want it to give you some interest, you could say, I will keep it there for 1 to 2 years maybe, or 3 years. And then you can decide once it has accumulated this amount of interest, I'm going to take my money away and go and invest in something else. That's one. The other short-term investment also could be that I'm thinking of very short-term investments. So the long terms are usually assets. You know, they're assets that you want for them to build for you a very big wealth. So could be housing, it could be land, it could be a business, right? But if you get, let's say, if you have, let's say, 100,000, and you want to buy a book like that to sell it quickly, you know, you invested in a short-term investment because you're selling it quickly right away and getting back your money, right? So it's not that you're keeping the money for a long time. So the amount of time that you take to keep your investments or to actually invest in a certain business or in a certain area or trade, that the return on investments depends on the amount of time that you've taken. If you have money and you'll say, I'm going to keep it for 10 years, invest it in something, and then I'll just keep getting my returns every year. And actually, as you keep getting your returns, the interest that you get, you can invest in something else. Yeah, you can reinvest it or buy another property or invest in a different thing. Yeah, so those are some of the things. So for example, buying bulk and selling in portions, investing profits into tools that increase productivity. For example, a fridge, a vendor, those are tools that support your business. So for example, we're talking about if you're supplying milk or juice and you need maybe a fridge or you want somebody to help you do the distribution, those are short-term investments that are supporting your businesses. Training someone to help you expand your operations. Those are the skills that we're talking about.
Business coach.
Exactly, yeah. So you could invest in a business coach, or you could actually take somebody and have them trained to develop the skills that you want them to have so that they can help you in running your operations.
Pay someone to study and come out run your business.
Yeah, right. Sometimes you don't want to study. Some people do like that. So for example, let's say you are the founder of a small business, right?
Yes.
And because your plan or your vision is that your business has to grow. But remember, as a business founder, you're not going to do the job alone. You can't do everything alone, right? You have to employ people. So maybe you need an accountant to manage your finances. But maybe there's no accountant. So you take the accountant, you take somebody who is ready to study accounting, make sure they're trained, and you pay for the training. You're investing in their skills, but remember these skills are coming to serve you.
So at the end, you have to pay them also.
Yes.
So what if they fail?
Well, those are disadvantages of even if you study, you can fail. Okay, so let me ask you, if you get them when they have completed, let's say the course, they have already finished studying, they are ready to work.
You own them.
Don't you employ them still?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know that you actually get to pay them more because they have already invested in themselves? They have already invested in their education. So then you actually get to pay them more. But if you take them, so okay, let me ask you. If today I had a business, let's say I have a business, right? You're a senior 6, you're finishing senior 6 in accounting, right? There's somebody else who has completed their bachelor's degree in accounting, and they've probably completed CPA, right? And I need to employ somebody, depending on the level of the business. My business is not able to employ the person who has a bachelor's degree because they're more expensive, right? Right now, a person who has completed a bachelor's degree and has a CPA is not paid below 2 million Rwandan francs. They don't get paid below 2 million Rwandan francs.
That's good.
That's why I was telling you to study CPA and CAT. So you can't pay them less than 2 million, okay? But my business is not able to actually afford that person. Maybe I can only afford 500,000 for somebody. So what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to take Blaise, who has completed senior 6, right? And I tell Blaise, I know that you have knowledge of accounting, but I'm willing to invest in your skills and pay for you to continue studies as you work for me, right? So for him, he's learning on the job. That's number one. He's also learning in school. So he's getting what he's learning in school and applying it to the job, right? He's getting experience, and I'm giving him a salary, but I'm also paying his tuition, right? So Blaise is actually probably going to be a loyal employee because he knows that I've invested in him, he's learnt, he's improved his skills on the job, he understands this job better than anybody. And then when he's done school, he has an opportunity to even negotiate for an increase in salary. So maybe he might move from 500 to 1 million, but I still have not reached where I'm paying 2 million.
So what you mean, you're going to pay for him, and after he's done, he's going to come and work for you?
No, he is working. I'm paying him, he's working, and he's also studying. Unless he's not able to do both, right?
Nah, it's funny.
That's
So you're working for a salary,
Yes.
you're also studying, and somebody's paying for your tuition,
Yes.
and you're still learning on
That's right.
the.
That's right.
Isn't that better? See? So and remember, he's also still young and willing to actually work hard and yeah. So by the time he actually decides, I've worked for this job enough, maybe he's been there for 5 years or 7 years. When he gets the next job, he might actually hit the mark of even 3 million. Because for him, he has come with experience, he has come with, you know, so the combination of all that, he's good because he has, and he has probably moved that business from one point to another because he has he's been consistent with it. Right? So simbi bibanga se. Nimutangira businesses zanyu. So basically, when you're investing in a business, you cannot ignore the fact that you have to invest in skills and in everything else that has to do with the business. Because at the end of the day, as a business person or as an entrepreneur, you can't do the job alone. You know one component of the business because you're the founder, you're the idea behind it, but you can't be everything. You can't be the finance person, you can't be the operations, you can't be the delivery person, you can't, you know, everything. So when you're starting small, yes, many of the things you might end up doing them yourself, but as you grow, and if you want your business to grow, you have to invest in people, which means you have to employ people and you have to get people who actually are able to help you, who understand the business or who are willing to understand your business and be able to support you in one way or the other. Okay? So many of the entrepreneurs actually fear giving jobs to people. They don't want to pay salaries. They want to invest and then every money that comes in, it's theirs alone. But what happens at the end of the day is that you get overwhelmed as a person because you can't do everything yourself. Ibaze urimo nko gucuruza nk'amata. Uzajya kuyafata aho bayavana bayakamye, then you pack it, then you deliver it, you're the driver of the car that is delivering, you're the one getting the money. It's too tiring, but also it gets you messed up. So sometimes they might even pay you, and when you have the money in your pocket, you go to the market, you don't know how much you got from there.
It wastes your time.
It wastes your time as well. Yes. Yes. So that's the thing. You're utilizing the skills that you have with you. Uwo mwana Blaise might be ushobora no kuba utamwishyura cyangwa umwishyura make. Why do you want to Why do you no mwana wo mu rugo aba yakoze nawe akeneye guhembwa. Okay, it depends on how you start. If you negotiate Blaise mwana wo mu rugo and you negotiate him and say, Blaise, I'm starting small, I don't have money to pay you now, but I can provide lunch, I can provide transport, maybe I can do this. But as we continue growing, in the next 6 months or 1 year, I will give you 10,000 per month, for example. And then, you know, as we keep growing, you could say every 6 months I will increase your salary, or every year I will increase your salary. But you can't say you're making somebody work for nothing all the time, because at the end of the day, your business is working. Chereka business here with the code.
Why not?
Let me tell you, for every business that you do, never think of using people for free because they are giving you a service. Blaise wo mwana wawe se ntahandi ariko babonye akazi bamuhemba.
Uyari muri vacances mu bigo namfasha.
No, that's good. It's a good way of using the people that you have around you, but it cannot always be like that if you want your business to grow. Because remember, if he's your son, for example, he's at home, ari mu biruhuko. And he's supporting the business, he's supporting the parents because he knows, yes, the parents are paying school fees, they are buying you maybe shoes, they are buying you clothes. But you're eating at home, that's fine. You're making use of your family resources, right? But if you want your business to grow, you're going to want to make sure that Blaze understands the business well, so that now Blaze can take over the business.
Take it as inheritance.
It depends on how you understand with him. Blaze shall not
He'll never say no. He's my son.
No, even the son can say no. Trust me. Times have changed. These days you tell your kids remove that cap and it's like I'm tired. Blaze shall quack. Akakubwira ati rwose papa urakoze niki ariko nabonyikira kahari ati member amafaranga. No, that's not allowed. So it is a good thing that you learn how to utilize the resources around you, because you're just starting and you don't have the money to pay people. So you can utilize your kids, your wife, your family members and all that, but make sure that everybody is doing something that is improving the business. That's number one. Number two, that they are learning something about the business. Because again, you want, let's say it's a family business. You want the family, that business to continuously grow even in 100 years. Bazaje bavugabati, what's your name? Benjamin. Bazaje bavugati musaza Benjamin yasize umurage. Sibyo? Abana be umwe yafashe iki, undi yafashe iki, undi yafashe. The business has become a family business. Your cousins, all of them, barrage, everybody is employed. One is an IT manager, another one is a public communication, another one is a designer in the same business. So you have built a legacy where the family business has actually become strong. But remember where you started. You started maybe in your home, Blaze Atamuhemba, and he's supporting you, Namuru Munawe, Namukuruwe, all of them. But the business has actually grown to the extent that now Blaze is the CEO of the business. His young brother is the IT director, the other one is this. So the business has actually become big. So even when you use the resources around you, use them with the vision of how do I want to grow my business, and how can these people support the business for it to grow to a large scale. And how can I make sure that it's sustainable in the way that they actually are maintained. If they are within your family and you're trying to build a family business, that's a good way to think about it. You can't always think about or a family, I'll use them for free. No, if you use them for free, the business fails. Because remember, when you start using people for free,
even
if
they
don't
have motivation. Huh? The payment make them have motivation.
Exactly, there's no motivation for them, that's one. Two, they're wondering, why should I waste my time working for free? I'll just go there for 30 minutes and then go do other things. So they're making your business fail. But you have to recognize that they're putting in their efforts, they're putting in their skills and their time, and therefore you have to reward them. So you can't always have people working for you for free. The business will fail.
Not always.
When you're starting, it's understandable. You can negotiate them, show them what the vision you have, show them where you want to be as a business, and show them that they're actually going to be a huge part of this business, and therefore their contribution right now means that they're going to be rewarded as the business starts to grow.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, I have done this in 6, then I have the 50,000. As teacher, what can I invest in it?
Ideas, business ideas, people.
Bonds, shares, all the shares.
Give her ideas. She's saying, let's say she has finished necessities. She has 50,000. Where can she invest? What small enterprises can she start? What small business can she start?
Pottery.
So this is what they call ideation or idea generation.
Yeah.
What ideas do you think she can? Serious as
So long term or short term?
No, it's short term, because remember we said small businesses, it is informal, it is limited capital. So she needs ideas.
So for idea, you can make pottery for small livestock like rabbits and the hens, because those they produce the income very fast. If you start using hen, you will start getting some eggs, and if they grow up, they start make their young ones. You will sell them, and get the money very fast. For that your money you can make that project. Inkwavu ni nkoko. Yeah.
Any other idea?
Pigs also.
Pigs. So livestock.
Livestock, yeah.
What other?
But short term is it's limited. Short term.
Yes, we have had the livestock. What
Yeah.
other things can she do? Even
Even you can make some bakeries, like making some buns, breads for that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe she can start mushroom cultivation. It's not difficult.
Agriculture as well. Bread.
Short term
baragukoresha ku buntu baragukoresha ku buntu n'akazi kawe. So yeah, so those are some of the small businesses that you can start. Those are some good ideas. You could also, so bakeries, those are some things that usually have, the market usually needs. You could start school materials and say, I'm going to supply to all my friends. Ukagurisha makaye, ukagurisha bill you still changwa covers.
She could also start by saving some money.
Or you could save it somewhere and it generates income.
Tracking
Interest.
income. Tracking income and spending.
Exactly. So if you don't want to, maybe the ideas that we've said here are not ideal for you, and you still want time to think, you can take that money and save it. Then it generates for you interest in the meantime. Then maybe in another 3-6 months or 1 year, you take that money with the interest and say, okay, now I'm ready, I have an idea that I think is good, let me go and invest in this. Yeah.
Even he's fearing for making a business, he can buy some shares, so he can get some dividend.
Shares a long time. Long time liability.
Yeah, it depends on what she wants. She may decide, I'm going to do long term. So let me take my 50,000, invest it in a long term something, and then I'll wait. I'm happy to wait for 5 years, and then I'll have gotten more money. So it depends on what you want. If you feel like you want to make an income quickly in a short term, then you go with some of the business ideas that they've come up with. If you want to make it produce more money, save it, make some interest, maybe in 2 years, it will have generated a little bit of additional capital. You take it and invest. Or you say, I'm happy to wait, still young, let me go and invest it 5 years. 5 years down the road, I will have come up with a good business idea, or maybe I will have made money and I will go to the bank and they give me an additional money, and then I start, a much bigger business. So it depends on how you think through, but also on what the market looks like, the conversations you have with people, the advice that you get from people, and how do you actually decide to move forward with the little money that you have. Okay. So again, as we look at investments and making sure that our businesses are making money for us, it is important that we build assets. So, like we were saying, yes, you can start a small business, and let's say you do rabbits, right?
Yeah.
Or chicken. Those are livestock that they produce regularly, and you can sell them to the market regularly and make more money quickly. But as you continue making money, what are you doing with the money that you're making? Are you investing back, or are you building something else? Are you building a big business, or are you investing in a big asset? So again, and this is what we are saying, assets produce income even when you're not working. Which example I gave is like land or a house. They increase value. So even if you have land and you're just sitting and waiting for it to give you value or to give you return on investment, it is actually producing return on investment. Because if you have it today and in the next 5 years or 10 years you want to sell it, you will have more money at that time. You know that when you have an asset, it is more money. It is producing for you more money because the asset appreciates. Assets appreciate. So like a business system, rental equipment, livestock, we've already mentioned livestock. Examples of rental equipment is like, let's say, have you seen people who use tractors to, like, do agriculture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the trucks that we usually see that transport building materials. So that is equipment that people invest in, and it produces for you more money because you're renting it out. Of course, that's even though it sometimes they come with a number of disadvantages, is that if it knocks, then you've lost. So, but remember that the time you've bought it and you're using it, the time it starts to depreciate, you have already returned your money, right? So if let's say you have tractors and you rent them out to farmers and they use the tractors to dig their land, and by the time it is 3-5 years, you've already returned the investment that you made in that rental equipment. Livestock, it is understandable if you have 5 rabbits today and you have 10 in the next 6 months and you have 20 in the next 8 months, the value is increasing, okay? And the money that you're making out of that small livestock business, you invest in somewhere else. So it is important that you invest in things that are going to bring for you more money, that are going to produce more for you, more revenue. And then encouraging my entrepreneurs to invest to reinvest profits. Don't eat your money. Don't eat your.
Avoid spending.
Spending is inevitable. You want to spend,
Overspending.
but how do you spend?
Minimum.
Yes.
Yeah.
So spend wisely.
Avoid overspending.
Avoid overspending. Spend on the needs, not just wants. Exactly. So when, for example, when you, let's say, invest in something and it produces for you interest, so you keep, reinvesting the interest. You take the interest and say, I'm now going to buy this equipment. Maybe you take interest and say, I'm going to put up a studio like this and I'll be renting it out to people to come and use it, and they pay me. And then because you have taken the interest and invested it, you're saying, but the 50,000 that I kept, I can now take it and use it for something else. Do not do that. That means you're already depleting your resources. Let it keep giving you more money. Because if you take it, then that means it's done. There's nothing to give you, even the interest. Okay? So it is important that you don't eat your seed money, means the capital that you started with. Okay? And a simple example, instead of spending all profit, buy more stock or tools to scale up. Okay? That's what I was saying. As you make more money, invest in something else. As you make more money, invest in stocks. As you make more money, maybe increase the level of your business. Maybe you're using this room, you want to extend to that room. If it's maybe a house for a rabbit, you have bought more and you want to extend. So keep looking at how you can improve your business and make it much more bigger than taking the money. We've seen people, and I think I gave you the example of where, so I have a business and then I make money and I see that money is coming in well. What do? I go and look for the latest car on the market. Okay? Yes. I take the interest, I take what we call the seed money or the capital that I invested in. I'm like, the business is doing well, let me go. I buy the latest car and I come. So I've started spending on the what? Maybe I need the car, yes. But do I really need the latest car? No. And then maybe I bring it here because maybe that latest car, there's even nobody who can repair it if it has a problem, and then if it gets a problem, I'm stuck. There's nothing. So either I'm packing it, or I start importing spare parts. Again, it is costly. So you start getting into costs that are not really necessary. Okay? So it's important that you track your spending, but also make sure that you're spending on the things that are very, very important for us. So, do you know what a hustle means?
Hustle working.
Yeah, so hustling means struggling, or so there are things that we usually call side hustles. These days when you say side hustles, it means I have a side business, side something that I'm doing. It means maybe I have a job, but I also have something small on the side that I'm doing to help me generate more revenue. But what happens most of the time, if an entrepreneur is not focused, what happens is that I might have a job today and have my side hustle. Maybe teaching is my side hustle, for example. Maybe I work, but in the evening I go to teach at a certain university.
2 jobs.
So I have 2 jobs. So the main one, from morning to evening, is the main job. So my side hustle is maybe I have a shop that I go to in the evening, or maybe I go to teach, or maybe something, you know. So at the end of the day, what happens is that if I don't take my side hustle serious, it will always be a side hustle. Ntabwo nyiha agaciro nkuko kandi mpa amafaranga.
The main job.
Exactly. So you consider this one as the main thing, but this side hustle, you keep taking it, niwigo habitano kumva, it's okay. And yet you could actually use it to produce more money, you know? Yeah, investing. So what we are saying here is that don't just hustle, create a system. Don't just leave this side small business to keep being small. Create a system that helps you to make it a bigger business. So that, because a job is a job, tomorrow your employer can kick you out. COVID can come and you lose your job. So something can always happen. But when it's a business, somehow you'll make it work. Because by the time you start a business, it means that service is needed on the market. There's an impact that you're going to make on the market. So that business may fail today, but it survives tomorrow. But a job, you know, if you get kicked out of the job, sometimes finding another one is hard, you know. So make sure that if you have a small business, don't keep it small, don't ignore it. Ntugafate mbese nk'akantu kari aho ngaho ngo kubera ko ngo kampa 5 ngo 10 ngo meze neza nta kibazo. Scale it, exactly. Put systems into place. Make sure you have you invest in skills. Make sure you invest in systems in a process that will help you to scale your business. And an example is if you sell chapati, buns, train someone to help you get a spot where sales can run regularly. Right? Get someone to help you. If Benjamin wants his son to help him, let him get his son to help him and teach him how to do the job well. So that in the future, you actually have this person continue to work with you. Get a shop or get you know, a place where, because again, let's say if you're selling things to eat, foodstuffs, you need a clean place, you need clean people, you need clean plates and cups and maybe, you know, other things that you're using. So it is important that you present your business as something that is actually good so that it attracts people, okay? Record sales, manage supply, and keep investing. So when you talk about record sales, it is, yeah, record what has come out of the business, but also record your expenses. Tracking. Yeah, that's exactly what we learned last time. So track everything that comes in and goes out. And is what is going out relating to the business. So you track both what is relating to the business and what is your personal. If it is a salary maybe of somebody that you're employing. If it is school fees of your child that you're paying, that is not related to the business, but it is money that you've taken out of the business and invested it in something else. Manage supplies. So depending on what small business you're doing, if it is rabbits, how are you managing the supply of their food? How are you feeding them? How often do you feed them? How much do you buy? So all that, those are supplies. Cleaning, how much do you invest in cleaning for them, and all that. So you make sure that you also record and track what supplies are coming in towards your businesses. What are the costs? You could just be buying, maybe, but when there's somebody who is much cheaper. So are you even looking at what is affordable in the market? You know, is your supply chain actually very smooth and efficient? Ushobora kuba uva hano ukajya kubigura Nyabugogo kandi Kimironko bihari. Cyangwa se wenda Nyabugogo birahendutse, including transport and everything, you don't buy from Kimironko. So you have to look at all those components to make sure that you're making the best out of the supplies. And then keep investing, of course, like we said. And then eventually the system ends while you explore new opportunities. So when you have these systems in place, when you have put a situation in place that helps you to actually continuously invest in your business or continuously improve your business, what happens is that you relax because things are in check. Your systems are in place.
Smart money is making.
Exactly. So now you're working smart and your money is actually working for you. So what now you have the time to actually look at new opportunities for investing. For scaling your business or for investing, Yeah, things like that. So it is important that as you start a business, you start thinking, where do I want to take my business? What processes and systems do I put in place? Even if it's a very, very small business. You know, how are you tracking? These are the key things. How are you tracking your sales, managing your supplies? How are you managing the money and all those things? So once you have that in check and you have the people that are helping you to do that job, then you as the founder or as the entrepreneur who came up with the business idea, you're looking at how your money is flowing and you're saying, okay, now I have enough money to invest in this other business. I have enough money to actually do this other thing. Or I have enough money to now increase my business. Maybe move, I mean, if my business was in Chimirongo, now I want to move to Kachiro. Or I want to go to Ramagana or to Nyamata. So you start thinking of, you know, those things. Okay?
Yeah.
So we are going to take a break of 3 minutes and then we'll come and go to the next. So think through. If you have questions, we'll answer them in the next session. Okay? All right.
I believe strongly that when we collaborate, you can go much further than it be we're full on in. So I'm very grateful for our partnerships with the Ministry of Education and Rwanda, when the Rwanda Basic Education Board, and also with the World Bank for Rwanda, so that we can make great strides in foundational learning for all teachers in Rwanda, also for all of the learners in Rwanda.
What we heard from all the speakers should invigorate us, should re-energize us, to make sure that we leave here with that dedication and commitment. And we go forth as the young child that spoke yesterday, to move towards less talking and more action, as she said. So let us work together to indeed make a difference that our children will feel and their children will benefit from.
Honorable guests, it's my deep conviction that solid early education will become all the more vital as time advances. Achieving sustainable development will require our children and their own to wield every available ounce of intellectual, social and emotional intelligence to ensure that education and growth actually translate into progress for all.
turacyafite urugendo rwo kugira ngo turusheho kumva ese autism ni ese ifite turusheho kumufasha dute, ese ni gute ushobora kumenya ko umwana afite autism. Imyanzuro izaza uzabona mu cyumweru gitaha nuko mu matitisi tugomba gushyiraho option ya special needs. Iyo option ya special needs basanzwe bariga n'isomo, ariko twifuza abanyeshuri biga special needs muri TTC bakagraduate kugira ngo bajye gusapotinga muri primary. Nagira ngo rero tubashimire uruhare mwagize kugira ngo first conference ya mbere ibashe kuba. Shimira buri umwe wese utanze ibitekerezo. Nagira ngo wenda buri muntu wese atahari icyo kintu. Disability is not inability. This annual national dialogue will serve as a platform to reflect our progress, identify challenges, and prioritize actions to improve inclusive education. Together, we will remain steadfast in our mission to ensure education for all, leaving no one behind.
Together, we can ensure teachers are supported and equipped to fully have inclusive classrooms, empowered to educate the decision makers and leaders of our shared tomorrow.
It is a privilege to join you today for this two-day national dialogue to engage in meaningful discussions on the critical topics of inclusive and special needs in education. As we deliberate, let us remember that inclusion benefits everyone. When we embrace diversity, we enrich our education system and society. By supporting learners with disability, we'll cultivate compassion, resilience, and innovation in our classroom and communities. Let us use this dialogue as a platform to listen, share experiences, and co-create solutions. Together we can build an education system that truly embodies our values of equity, dignity, and excellence. Thank you, and I look forward to a productive discussion ahead.
The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible.
I believe strongly that when we collaborate, you can go much further than it be we're full on a new. So I'm Dorit Rikta, Ward Partnerships with the Ministry of Education in Rwanda, when the Rwanda Basic Education Board, and also with the World Bank for Rwanda, so that we can make great strides in foundational learning for all teachers in Rwanda, also for all of the learners
what we
in
heard
Rwanda.
from all the speakers should invigorate us, should re-energize us to make sure that we leave here with that dedication and commitment, and we go forth as the young child that spoke yesterday.
So welcome back from your break. I hope you had the time to discuss some of the things that we were studying. So quickly, before we continue the lesson, we had questions from some of the students online, and I wanted us to first go through them. So we have Hategekimana Jean-Baptiste, who asked, what is the difference between a macro entrepreneur and a small entrepreneur? Okay, I'm sure you all know that. How was one Hategekimana?
Macro and small, so the same.
No.
Macro.
Macro is the large business.
Bigger, larger.
Yes. So macro is on the large scale, micro is on the small
scale.
Yes. So for Hategekimana, who is following us, a macro entrepreneur runs a large business. Usually with a large business, you need a big amount of money. You start big, you know. So you have many employees. So it's usually, it's a big company. It could be running at a national level or international level, depending on what is being done. But when it comes to a micro or a small, that's the one that we were focusing on this morning, and it means you're starting small. It is informal. You don't need a lot of capital. You don't need a lot of employees. It is something that you build small, slowly by slowly, and it grows. Okay, so that makes a small entrepreneur and a large entrepreneur, or a macro entrepreneur and a micro entrepreneur. So macro is pretty much a big business, while micro is small, and that's what we're focusing on. Then we have Niyonjira Inosa. What skills should I focus on developing as a micro entrepreneur? Okay, so I think we some of the things we talked about them. So thinking of an idea, what comes first is, what business do I want to do? What small business do I want to focus on? Okay, so first thinking smartly to find, with my limited amount of money, with my limited skills, I want to start a micro business or a small business. So what kind of business can I do? Okay, so you first find what issue do you want to deal with? Is it lack of livestock in your community? Is it lack of scholastic materials in the community? What is it that you want to do? And therefore the business idea comes to mind. And then talking to customers, finding out, is this an ideal business? Is this something that I can do? You know, we were talking about growing, keeping livestock. Is it something that is common? But even if it is common, maybe it's something that is needed on the market. So you first find out, talk to a few people, find out, do a market research, talk to a few potential customers and find out whether it's something that can be done. Then keeping track of your income and costs. I think that we already looked at it when we were looking at our cash flows. How do you manage your money? You know, if you're a small business, the things that you really need, most importantly, is how do I manage the little money that I have to make sure that my business is going well. And then learning, continuously learning. I believe learning is something that we all do every day, in everything we do. Nobody, PhD and other things, they're still learning. Somehow they keep learning. So it means that as you run your small business, there are mistakes that you do, of course. You're not perfect. And so you have to continuously learning. Learn how to continuously manage your money, learn to identify new markets, learn maybe to package your things better, maybe learn a better way of keeping your livestock. You know, these days, given the technology and how things are moving, there's always a better way of doing things. So niba warufite ichiraro chizo nkoko giteye ukuntu, maybe they'll tell you put lighting, or maybe down hari bitaka gusa, maybe you put other materials so that you're continuously improving. So you continuously learn and learn from others who are doing the same business. Learn from your mistakes. If maybe you are rearing them and you have to learn how can I avoid if the next time. So those are the ways of how to always deal with issues through learning. And then providing customer care. Murabizi customer care is a big deal. when you're in business. So you have to treat your clients and every customer with respect, with consideration, and knowing that if you are in their position, you would want to be treated the same way. So those are some of the key things that you need to know. And you don't have to be perfect, but always willing to learn and improve your business is something that will help you to continuously improve. Okay? Then we have another question from Daishimie Jean Pomsen. What is a micro entrepreneurship starter? So this is how you begin, starting a small business with very little money and what you already have. The little skills that you have, the limited amount of money, the small business that you have thought about, that is what we call micro entrepreneurship. And yes, basically everything that we've been talking about is learning how to identify a small business that you can focus on. It is testing the small business. You know, if you're selling snacks, services, crafts, or livestock, it is starting it and learning how to manage it. And then starting small and smart, but learning along the way. Okay? So that's the first step, basically, of becoming a business person. And then we have a question from, this is another one from, again, Nyonjiran Inosa, and he's asking what are the most common mistakes student entrepreneurs make. Let's not just say student entrepreneurs, any entrepreneur, some of the mistakes that they make. But I think the reason why he called them student entrepreneurs is maybe not that they have a lot to learn, but anybody who is starting small. It could be a student, it could be anybody.
Experience or what?
Sorry?
Maybe that you have no experience on that he's doing.
Or maybe he said students because they're the ones who come with no experience, with limited amount of money and all that, and which is a good thing. So some of the students that we may make, and it could be students or it could be any other person who is starting small, is starting without a plan. You have to have a plan of whatever business you're going to start. And it doesn't have to be a huge business plan. It doesn't have to be a business plan. No. The plan has to be simple but straightforward. What is the idea? What is the business idea that you want to do? What is the enterprise that you want to start? How much money do you have? Where are you going to start? What skills do you have that you're going to start with? Who do you need for support? How big is your market, or who are you going to sell to? So those are some of the things that you have to think through and have a plan. And it doesn't have to be very, very huge, but can be as simple as just knowing how much money you have, where you're going to invest, how much you're going to invest, how are you going to track your expenses and supplies, all those things. So making it simple helps you to understand, and then as you grow, as the business grows, then it keeps improving as well. Then spending too much to start. Don't spend too much to start. Okay? Start small and just start. Try it and see how it goes. But if you start spending a lot, then the amount of money that you have to spend will be depleted. It will be done before you actually start your business. And then another mistake is not listening to customers. Your business must solve their problem and not your idea. So for you, you have a business idea, which is good. But remember, the business you're starting is to serve customers, is to give some customers something. So you don't focus on yourself. You focus on what the customer needs. Remember, if somebody comes to buy from you, sometimes they'll tell you, aya mandazi yawe nta sukari nyinshi irimo. Undi araza kuvuga ati chapati yawe ni ntoya. Yiji yawe ndabona agacupa irimo katari keza. Or they'll tell you, you know, this pen does not write nicely. So there will be feedback from customers. So it is important that you take that feedback seriously and understand and try to improve. So that is the learning process. What is it that you're working on? What product or service are you working on? And how are you getting feedback from the customers? Okay? Maybe somebody asked you to deliver donuts. You are supposed to deliver at 9, but you delivered at 9:30. So the customer gives you and says, you are late. I don't like. Yes, I want my things at 9, not at 9:30. So that is for you is a lesson. You have to learn that you have to respect the customer's timing because that's the time they want them. So what do you do to improve that service delivery? Okay? So we have to listen to customers and then do not give up quickly. Every business faces issues. There will be challenges. Sometimes you even close and go home and be frustrated. Other people just sell off the business. Do not be frustrated, because once you get frustrated, then you have failed. So, but the frustrations will be there. There will be times when you have made a loss. There will be times maybe when your employee has spoiled everything. Nibugurisha amata ushobora kugenda ukarangura amata yose wajya kugeza ku bakiriya ugasanga yose yapfuye. So there will be that kind of challenge. Or you wake up, if you have rabbits or chicken, ugasanga zose zapfuye. Maybe has icyorezo utazi naho kivuye. And all of them have died. So you have to learn, how do I move from that and keep going, you know. Niba zose zapfuye, what did I have in place that can help me buy, maybe niba nane mfite 10 zapfuye reka ngende nongere ngura utundi tubiri hangire. So do not give up, because an entrepreneur has to be driven. You have to be passionate about what you're going to do, to the extent that uko byagenda kose, you do not give up. Okay? Of course, there will be external challenges that you do not even have control over. But most of the time, deal with the things that you have control over, put them in line, make sure everything is okay. If external challenges come, then those usually have another way of dealing with them. So there will be usually something, a solution for that. So just be willing to actually talk to people, understand what's going on, how do you manage that, how do you deal with that, and how do you actually move forward. So that's why your spending and your savings have to be in system. You have to have a good system of managing those, so that if this challenge comes, you have a way of bouncing back. You have money to actually invest again. Then you won't be able to move beyond that issue. And then don't mix personal business with personal money with business money. If you're going to start small, the money that you're getting out of that business, right? Decide, if I'm making 10,000 as profit, and I need to take care of my home, even business. But you can't take the entire 10,000, because if you take the entire 10,000, that means you're not saving. You're left with nothing. And then tomorrow, if the business needs some money, you will not have any money to actually invest back. Okay? So it means that you need to reach a point where you make sure that the personal money that you have in your pocket, even if you're getting it from the business, it's actually being able to run for you, to make sure that you're running the home, but you're also keeping the business in check. Otherwise, if you take all the profits, then that means you're not able to make sure that the business is running. So it means that at some point, the business will need money to reinvest back, and you will have nothing. Okay? So those are some of the things that I can come up with, but you can also think of other things that you can add. So avoid these things by keeping your business simple and understanding your plan, but also considering feedback from
Teacher,
yes.
how can you know that it's time for you to? How can you know that it's time for you to like stop the activity you were?
Stop the business.
Yes.
So like I said, so once you keep tracking your activities and your money, how you're saving or how you're not saving. If you're failing to save and you're always in negatives, every time your supplier supplies, you're not able to pay them, you reach a point and you feel like this business, at this point, it's not working. That's number one. Number two, also you look at the market. Sometimes we think of business ideas, but maybe that's not what the market needs. Ugatekereza business, ugatekereza ko icyo kintu abantu bagikeneye, ukagenda niba rukurangura, niba rukorora, whatever it is that you're doing. And then maybe all of a sudden, the market doesn't need that. So you find that you're actually making losses because you don't have clients. So if it is something that is consistent, then you evaluate yourself. And by evaluation, again, that's where now even advisory comes in. Sometimes you need to go an extra step of asking somebody who is already in business, who understands business advisory, to advise you and say, I'm facing these challenges, this is how it is. Should I close? Should I keep going? Should I sell and then do another business? So you decide on what to do. but after you have done that assessment to see exactly what happens. Because I'll give you an example. For example, in COVID, there are businesses that were there and they were doing well. But when COVID came, those businesses could not operate because of their nature. Niba tuvuge, I don't know what example that I can give. If somebody had a school, Yara nursery school, for example, not the government schools, like business, private schools. So somebody has set up a nursery, and they've decided, I'm going to, your kids will be coming here, they'll pay and all that. And then you have a lockdown of 2 years. 2 years, let's say you're paying rent for the house where you are. You had bought play materials for the kids. You had maybe had foodstuffs that you're supposed to give them. You had all these things to run, a small nursery school. But they're telling you lockdown is going to go on for a year or 2 years. Obviously, that business closes, at least for that period of time. You can assess after COVID to see, is this still relevant? Is this how I want to run the business? Is this the business I want to run in case COVID comes again? So those are questions that you start asking yourself after you have met those challenges. But such a business had to close. Meanwhile, somebody who did not have anything to do with technology and started a platform to teach kids online during COVID, that one made money. It is an idea that came because they saw the challenge and decided, this is the way I'm going to run my classrooms, not physical. So they brought a solution to a situation that needed it. If you look at deliveries, uzuka motari wakoze amafaranga menshi muri COVID kurusha abandi bantu bose because they were doing deliveries. Abantu bajyaga guhaha cyangwa babaga bakeneye ibintu hirya no hino, abamotari bara deliveringa. So they had the opportunity to actually make more money. So nutarafite moto cyo cyashobora yarayiguze because they saw the opportunity. So sometimes you have to see the opportunity, and sometimes you have to see where your business is at and decide, I think this is not working, let me go and do this. Let me go and invest in this. So it takes you to look at deeply to say, how have I been working in the last maybe 3 or 6 months? How many clients have come on board? Have I even brought new clients? Where has the money been going? And then at the end of the day, say, I think this is not working. Let me close it. Maybe there's another opportunity here. And then you think about that. Yeah. So I'm scared of failing and losing money. How do student entrepreneurs handle setbacks? Is there a way to fail safely while learning? Definitely, learning doesn't stop. And to be honest, to fear to fail is normal. Everybody should fear to fail. That's why people get to work hard in class. That's when you get to work hard in business. That's when you get to work hard at everything, because you're fearing to fail. So fearing to fail is definitely something that everybody has. But how do you deal with that? So even successful people, even the most rich people, one of their biggest fears, actually I think they even have more fears than us who are not even big business people. They fear that everything they've built over the years could fail, right? So and everybody feels that. So the reason, one of the ways that we can put our businesses in order to make sure that we don't fail flat is that, again, start small. Do not wait to start big, because sometimes starting big has a lot of challenges that come with it. You need to have certain infrastructure in place, you need to have certain employees, you need to have a certain amount of capital. So we need to start small so that we avoid failing, okay? And test the idea to see, is it even relevant on the market? And then we need to learn, and learn fast. Don't, if you start a small business and you face challenges in the first 3 months, don't ignore them. Take them, look at what the issue was, how do you deal with them, do you need advice, do you need support, do you need to learn a certain skill, but learn fast and ask yourself every day, what did I do, what did I not do, what works and what hasn't worked. Then test those ideas. But don't wait to start big, and also don't wait to learn in a much later stage. Then be flexible. So if something doesn't sell, or customers reject your product, find solutions. Okay, be flexible. It could be that something you're selling on the market maybe is expensive compared to other suppliers. Kandi murabizi ko hari ujya kugura nk'ishati, same shirt, umwe akayigurisha 5,000, akayigurisha 3,000, akayigurisha 5,000. Right? So if somebody is selling it at 5,000 and they're failing to get customers, what are they learning? Because that means there's somebody else selling it at 2,000 or 1,500, and that person is making money, and they're probably making more sales. So you need to learn why shouldn't I be selling at the same price? What is it that I'm offering that this person is not offering that our prices should be different? It could be better quality, but you have to check that it's actually better quality. So izo shati ushobora kuba zisa ariko ngewe kubera ko ndimo gucururiza mu mujyi wo gucururiza Kimironko tugacururiza ibiciro bitandukanye. So it is important that you understand, am I giving better quality? What is it that makes me sell more than the other person? Ese birashoboka ko nanjye nagurisha kuri icyo giciro? That's one. So you always have to evaluate your options when you're running a business. And remember, even if you fail to sell one thing, it doesn't mean the whole business has failed. So you could try other options. Maybe lower your price a bit. Maybe if you're giving a shirt, maybe giving it away with something small attached to it. Like value on what you're giving them. Maybe no agushagikai ongera ikaramu biguma ari 5 ariko wongera ikaramu. Umuntu ahita wumva ko amuhaye package nziza. Kurusha kujya kugura ikaramu akagura n'ikayi bitandukanye. So it's always a lesson, and every entrepreneur or every person who is starting a small business has to look at all angles that are affecting their business and how they can actually improve. Mumaze kubona abantu bacuruza ibintu hakagera igihe bakavuga ngo batanze 20% discount for a period of time. There are usually reasons why they are doing that. One, niba barimo gutanga discount means they are not even nta nubwo bazahomba. Nubundi ntibari guhomba niba babigurisha 20%, less 20%. That's number two, maybe they are about to be expired. So they need the stock out quickly kugira ngo bari stocking. In other countries, mu bindi bihugu biterwa n'imihindukire y'ikirere. Sometimes muziko ibihugu bigira winter na summer. So if it was hot, hari imyenda yo kwambara mu gihe gishyushye. If it is cold, hari imyenda yo kwambara mu gihe gikonje. So iyo igihe gishyushye kije ya indi ikonje baba bashaka kwiva muri stock yose. So they discount, bagatanga discounts nyinshi. Same thing, if it is coming to winter, ari imyenda ya summer yaririmo, they want to sell off ya summer because they want the winter ones coming. So it depends again on the way and the situation that the business is. Jeanne Pomsen Narongati, what is the most important thing you've learned since you started your business? Ubu se aziko natangiye business. Yarose ko mfite business. But anyway, a business is anything. Even now, nukukwijisha shokori business, you know. As long as it generates money. So I will not say the lesson I've learned myself per se, but I'll say general lessons that people learn. Okay, so most of the time people are going to start businesses always think I need more money to start a business. Ufite ibihumbi 50 cyangwa ijana bayumva ari make. Abamva bashaka miliyoni no kuzamuka. I need that amount of money, but that's a wrong perception. You can start a business with an amount of money. And then people think they need to be right about the customers, they need to be, everything has to be perfect. But it can't be perfect when you're starting. Actually, it cannot be perfect even when you're scaling. It will never be perfect. You just have to keep improving and learning. So, like I said, one of the things you learn is that you don't need a huge plan, you don't need a lot of money, you don't need a lot of things to actually start. You think of the idea that has to do with the amount of money you have, but that can also be scalable. So it is important to continuously monitor and progress than try to be perfect. So that's one lesson that anybody who is starting a small business should understand. If you're going to start, let's say, hari abantu bajya gutangira boutique akajya kureba agashaka kureba Simba. Boutique na Simba ntaho bihuriye. We are totally different categories. So I can't be looking at Simba and thinking boutique unless I want to start a supermarket like Simba. So if I'm looking at Simba, I should be able to look at what items move fast, zigurwa cyane, that I can put in my small boutique, that I can start maybe with 100,000 or 50,000. But you cannot be learning from, yes, Simba can be an inspiration because maybe you want to be there as well, but it can't be the one you look at when you're starting your small one. Okay? So it can be something that you learn from, it can be something that you look at how they move, how they sell their things, how things happen there, so that as you scale, you're learning something from them. But if you start looking at them, then you're already thinking, okay, I need more capital, I need more employees, I need all that, but you're not at the same level as them. So you have to think, with my amount of money, what business can I do, and what can I put in place, and how can I keep scaling and learning and be able to get to where Simba Supermarket is. Okay? So I think those are some of the questions, unless you guys also have other questions. Hari ibindi bibazo mwe mufite?
Tugira n'iby'igishoro.
Ngo?
Igishoro, business turazifite zo ni nyinshi.
Business ziri mu mutwe ni nyinshi. Hasigaye kubona capital gusa.
Capital kibazo.
Okay. Capital ntabwo yabura wivu. Depends on how much you want. The sources of income.
So maybe 1 million.
Argent de poche, wajikura.
Oui, voilà. Yes. The saving, nushaka ku saving ijana. Depends on how much you have. Mujye muhimina mushyiramo ijana, magana atanu, whatever you have. And then you see. By the time you're 1 year down the road, and you could also borrow from somebody and say, I have a very good business idea. I have this much money. I need an additional money. Umuntu akakuguriza ugakora amasezerano ukamubwira uti ngewe business nitangira kunguka iki n'iki. My plan ni uko within 3 months when izaba yatangiye kunguka cyangwa in 6 months I will start paying you. So you get somebody who gives you that money, utari bugushyire kuri pressure ngo umwishyura ako kanya, and then you start doing business.
Yawambuka
Ako benda byo kwambura. Wamuye bank ndakwihorera nashaka kwambura abantu. No. But you give yourself time. Okay? Depending on the plan that you've done. Ariho azamza advisor who are you talking to that is helping you to do the plan, that is helping you to understand your business in terms of finances. So, okay, from the simple plan that we have, ndabona in 6 months, nzaba ntangiye kunguka. So once you start, the first priority should be, remember, your cash flow, and your budgeting. The first priority should be paying your debts. Because we work at be there. So the priority should be that person. Not kumngambura. You're still trying, right? You're still trying with the business. So you go to the negotiations. Go sit with that person. 6 months. Can you give me another period of time that's like this? Depends on how you negotiate. And then, there's nobody who will. The facts. If remember, when you're closing your business, the first thing is to first pay off your debts. Not ntabwo ugurisha ngo amafaranga uyitwarire. Uraanza kwishyura abantu bafite amadeni. Iyo ugurishije business yawe cyangwa ifunze. So everything small that you had in the business, you sell it off and first go and pay your debts. Not kujya kwishimisha. So and that brings me to the next topic, financial discipline. So the financial discipline is the basis of your business doing well. Okay? If you don't have financial discipline, the biggest challenge you will have is that you will always be running behind your business. It means you'll be in debt. It means you can't pay your suppliers. It means you can't pay your employees. It means even you're not actually making the best of your business. And when it comes to financial discipline, your business might even be doing well, but probably every money that is coming in, uragenda ukayafata ukajya kuyirira. Buri munsi kugiye kashiya wawe ukagenda ukareba muri tiruwari ngo yakoreye angahe, cyangwa kuri banki hageze angahe, you withdraw, ukagenda ukisohokera, ukajya kugura inkweto nziza. You forget that money is coming from the business. Okay? So you have to have financial discipline, which takes us back to our previous lesson of how do you track your cash flow, how do you track your expenses, and do you have a budget? Because every money that comes in a business, you have to have a budget for it. If every month you're making 50,000, what are you using with the 50,000? It doesn't mean that you don't take some to also deal with your issues, your needs, but it has to be budgeted. What would you rent it to me? Maybe you're going to pay your employees 10,000. Maybe you're paying, taxes another 5,000. So there has to be that budget so that you use it wisely. But if you don't do that, then that's when you figure ujya gusanga sanga barimo kukwishyuza ipatante aho ukorera and you don't have the money. Cyangwa no kwishyura isuku aho ukorera byakunaniye. So you have to have financial discipline. So making money work means understanding saving, budgeting, and investing. Okay? Separate your personal money from business money. Set short-term, mid-term, and long-term financial goals. Okay? What this means is that for every amount of money that you make, which is what investing is about, you have your budget maybe every month of the money that you make out of the business. And every month you have to pay rent, you have to pay maybe salaries, and you also need to take care of your needs, okay? But you also get to save, maybe as little as 2,000, let's say. That's a long-term goal, because remember, the savings, they will multiply, or they will increase, or they will generate interest. So you have to set the short-term goals of what you need to do with the money. So in the budgeting, that's why you show what you need to do every month. And then there are also things that maybe you need to buy a certain machine in the next 1 year. You start saving for that machine, okay? So that is now long-term focus. That's long-term planning. Or maybe you want to buy a machine, but you also want to save. So maybe you have 10,000 left, and you're saying 5,000 I'll save it, 5,000 I'll want to buy the machine. So you're saving to invest in something else, but you're also saving to generate more revenue. So you have to have that clear plan, okay? So those are the short, medium-term goals. And then use small capital, and usually short-term is between 1 to 3 months, maybe the things that you want to do in the next 1 to 3 months. And then mid-term is maybe 3 to 6 months, and then beyond 1 year is long-term. Yeah. And then use small capital to create big value. So like we said, when you're starting small, you start with small capital, small amount of money, okay? But like we said again, it's the money that is going to help you to build big capital. Big capital means a lot of money. It means assets, investments that you want to make. So an example is that maybe you have 10, let's say it in dollars, but we can also 10,000 Rwandese francs, mobile money that you will use, to purchase mobile money. And then you have 20 to buy snacks. You have 50 to buy airtime, So this is an investment that you're making, okay, in some of the things that you're doing. So that is the money that you start with. Even though it's not a business that you're starting, but it's the money that you have to buy some of those things. So the goal is to multiply money through smart investments and customer focus. So maybe this mobile money that you're buying, you could be selling the mobile money. So waguze mobile money, kuja nguigurisha. Maybe you bought these snacks kugira. Bari abantu tugura airtime so bibaza ko batayigura. Bari aba agents bagura airtime muri MTN. Bakazitugurisha. So MTN gives them the airtime at a low cost. bo bakayitugurisha nk'uko nyine MTN igurisha.
Mobile money ni kuvuga amafaranga no kuri konti.
Okay, so the mobile money float. So the mobile money you have is to invest in something. So let's say you have this money on your mobile money, but you're going to buy, let's say, airtime to sell, or you're going to buy something else to sell. So the investment you're making is supposed to produce for you an extra. But remember, also on mobile money, you can actually save. Yes, yeah, MTN gives you an interest. Yeah. So all these things could be something that you're investing in to be able to produce more money. Okay? So that is your investment, right? Yes. So the goal is to multiply money through smart investment and customer focus. So who's your customer? Are you giving them a good service? And are you making a smart decision in terms of what you're actually investing in? Then the other point is around learning to adapt and scaling your businesses. So you remember in one of the previous slides we were talking about as a business person, as a small entrepreneur, learn to be flexible. When you get feedback, how do you deal with it? Are you flexible enough to be able to adjust your prices, to adjust maybe your location, to adjust your customers, to adjust something, depending on how you've gotten feedback. So learning to adapt and scaling is very, very important. Making money work also means being financially literate and open to learning. We already talked about continuous learning, but we also need to be financially literate. So you see, most of the time is that we think we know how to manage money, but most of the time we don't. Managing money actually requires a level of literacy, and this program is actually, this is what we are doing with this program. It is to help young people to actually understand how to manage money at a very young age, so that tomorrow when you're in jobs or you've started your business, you don't fail to manage your money. So you have to be financially literate. Do you understand budgeting processes? Do you understand how to determine your needs and wants? Do you understand how to manage cash flows? Do you understand investments? And actually right now, the Capital Markets Authority of Rwanda also has a campaign that is going around. I think it's mostly in universities where they are raising awareness and teaching students on how to invest in bonds, in capital markets and other things. So, so this is the beginning of how do you understand, if you started a business today, do you understand how to manage your money? You know, actually, most of the big businesses, the founders or the owners of the businesses, they actually also get a salary. They give themselves a salary. Yes, because if they don't, what happens is that they'll just be taking all the money out of the business. But when you want to manage the money from your business as well, the way you give your employees the salary, you also get yourself a salary. So you can set a salary for yourself and say, according to the business and according to my needs and according to where I am at this level of business, I'll be taking this salary. My employees, this one will take this will take. So you also become an employee of your company.
You are the employer, you come the employee.
Yes, because if you don't do that, you actually act like the owner of the business, yes? And that means it is easy to just go with the money all the time. No boss. Anytime we don't kuzugaterura amafaranga ukagenda. Ariko iyo wiha umushahara nawe biragufasha kuko ukontrollinga amafaranga yose uko asohoka. Abahembwa bahembwe. And you can get a salary, no problem, and still get a bonus, a dividend. Dividends, the business has made money, you have cleared out all your expenses and everything. Asigaye, nubundi na yawe. So how you decide to deal with it is you can take part of it or invest the other one or save it. But if you just take all the balance, clearing expenses out, you never have any money left in the business. So it is important that you learn how to manage your money. Yes. So learn from each attempt, customer feedback and market needs. We've already talked about that. And then even failing is feedback. Yes. So Benjamin asked the question and said, how do I know that my business has actually failed and I'm ready to close? That is a lesson that you need to learn from. So let's say that your business completely fails and you have closed. What lessons have you learned that will help you to actually start the next business, or that will help you to improve the next business? So failing is not a bad thing. It's there to help you to learn from your lessons and improve, the next component. So every small business is a seed of financial independence. This is very important because, like I said, remember, when people are in jobs, they're very comfortable. But tomorrow, if you get fired, or maybe even have, let's say like people who are in construction, sometimes, they're climbing on top of walls and buildings and all that, and then you fall down and maybe your leg breaks. Yes, so you're at risk of death because of the job that you do. So you will not be able to do that job again. You become handicapped. But if you have a small business that is running, then you can keep running the business, okay? Because the business doesn't need you maybe to go up the ladders and climbing, houses and all that. So you create a business that will help you to survive without necessarily having a job. So it is always important for people to think, if I do not have a job that is paying me a monthly salary, what else can I be doing? If it happens that I end up not having a job tomorrow, what would I do? Okay? So that actually is usually the drive for entrepreneurship, for businesses. How can I be independent in terms of my finances? So you create that financial independence where you're managing your own business, you're managing your own finances, and you create systems that will help you have more money. But when you're in a job where you're getting paid every month, you don't have control over that money of the business. It's someone else's business or it's government business. They're paying you a salary. Maybe the salary is not even enough to cover all the expenses that you have, all the needs that you have. And maybe you're unable to save, So it's always good to think through and say, what is my plan B? If this ever failed, what will the plan B be? So it's always good to have that level of thinking so that you think, in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I should be having financial independence because I'm running my small business. Okay? Don't wait to be employed. Employ your ideas and money. Very important. Especially for you guys who are not yet in employment. When you finish school, don't hari abantu bishyizemo ko umva ndangiza rwose nshaka akazi muri office nicara meze neza. Those things are outdated. Why are you not thinking that I should be finishing and employing other people as well? Because that's possible. You should be in a position where you finish school and say, I want to create a business that will employ other people. So you employ your ideas and your money, and then you actually employ people. And then making money work for you starts with just one small, bold step. It means, Nike. Do you know what is written on it? Nike. Something else. What is the... Nike. You don't know the catchword that comes with it? Nah. Just do it. Nike, their catchword is just do it. That tick is tick, Nike, just do it. So that is the thinking that you should have when you're thinking of starting a business. Don't fear. Yes, the fear will be there, but just do it. Because if you don't do it, you never learn. If you don't do it, you never fail. If you don't do it, you not know whether it works or not. So it is important that you just do it. Doesn't mean that you wake up and set up a shop there. It means that think of the idea, make a plan, have a plan in place, and just start.
Take a risk.
Yes, actually business is risk-taking. Yes. And if you don't take a risk, you never know what works and what doesn't work in life. Even if you just like risk, it's not just business. Everything else. I'm not saying go and choose our. You may do all these years of school. Before no when they're at time actually they should be able to use their skills. So everything is a risk. But if you don't risk, you never know what works and what doesn't work. Okay? So we need to be bold enough to take that step and say, I'm going to do it, I'll learn a lesson, I'll know what, but I will try to be the best that I can be. I'll try to do it in the best way that I can do it to see what comes out of it. Maybe move on, you know? Experience what I want. You move on to the next one. And you don't even have to do the same business. Because of ABCD, and there's another one. Or there's a new opportunity that has come. With technology now, you have a lot of opportunities in terms of businesses. Things that don't even need you to sit in the office. Fit a laptop, telephone. People are making a lot of money through technology online and all that. They don't even, some of them are zero investments. Zero investment. So I ku internet yarebu ngakora business and I make money, you know. So it's almost zero investment, but people are actually making money. So you just have to be aware of what business opportunities are there, who are the clients, what does the market want, you know, and what is it that I can actually deliver, and how can I continuously improve. Okay. So again, so I'm going to give you a break of a few minutes so that we look at the last component. But I also know that there are lots of questions that have come in that we're going to start answering in the next session. So take 2 minutes break and come back with questions. You're the ones going to answer the questions that the other people are asking, because you're the only ones who have a microphone in the room. Okay, thank you.
Less talking and more action, as she said. So let us work together to indeed make a difference that our children will feel and their children would benefit from.
Honorable guests, it's my deep conviction that solid early education will become all the more vital as time advances. Achieving sustainable development will require our children and their own to wield every available ounce of intellectual, social and emotional intelligence to ensure that education and growth actually translate into progress for all.
turacyafite urugendo rwo kugira ngo turusheho kumva ese autism ni ese ifite turusheho kumufasha dute, ese ni gute ushobora kumenya ko umwana afite autism. Imyanzuro izaza uzabona mu cyumweru gitaha nuko mu matitisi tugomba gushyiraho option ya special needs. Option ya special needs basanzwe bayiga nk'isomo, ariko twifuza abanyeshuri biga special needs muri TTC bakagraduate kugira ngo bajye gusapotinga muri primary. Nagira ngo rero tubashimire uruhare mwagize kugira ngo first conference ya mbere ibashe kuba. Shimira buri umwe wese utanze ibitekerezo. Nagira ngo reka buri muntu wese atahari iki disability is not inability. today national dialogue will serve as a platform to reflect our progress, identify challenges, and prioritize actions to improve inclusive education. Together, we will remain steadfast in our mission to ensure education for all, leaving no one behind.
Together, we can ensure teachers are supported and equipped to fully have inclusive classrooms, empowered to educate the decision makers and leaders of our shared tomorrow.
It is a privilege to join you today for this two-day national dialogue to engage in meaningful discussions on the critical topics of inclusive and special needs in education. As we deliberate, let us remember that inclusion benefits everyone. When we embrace diversity, we enrich our education system and society. By supporting learners with disability, we'll cultivate compassion, resilience, and innovation in our classroom and communities. Let us use this dialogue as a platform to listen, share experiences, and co-create solutions. Together we can build an education system that truly embodies our values of equity, dignity, and excellence. Thank you, and I look forward to a productive discussion ahead.
The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries.
So I hope you had a good break again, and I hope you have questions, or you're ready to answer the questions from other colleagues. You can try. Okay. Do you want to start? Who wants to start with the first question? What should be the very first step after having a business idea?
You have to make...
Yes, Benjamin.
Starting a business, I think.
First of all, if you have a business idea, first of all, to make it clear, you have to make a business plan, because the business plan will guide you and show you how you are going to make your business in a clear way, so that you can see the risk you are going to take that will come, and you already have an information about it, and you see how you scan the environment. In that business plan, it will show you it will be like a guidance that will guide you from a business idea.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
No, that's the same answer.
The same answer.
Yes.
Okay.
The business plan.
Yes, that's the same thing he mentioned.
Yeah.
So you have once you have a business idea, you have to think, what is my plan to start implementing? How much money do I have? What is this business serving the market? What is my target market? Where am I going to locate my business? Is it an online business? Is it a physical business? Do I need to pay rent? Do I need employees? So the plan has to be in place so that you kick off the business. Second question is, what are the typical ways students transition out of their business when they graduate or move on to other opportunities? Interesting. Who has an idea? Well, I think what the student wanted to understand, I think, was what are the typical ways students transition out of school or out of what they are doing when they graduate, because I don't think she means that you have a business when you're still studying, or maybe you have a business when you're still studying and you want to move from that business to another opportunity. So the answer should be, again, any transition needs thinking through, assessing. So if it's a student who already has a business, so let's say you have a business now, or as you study throughout university, you have a business that you're running, but there's another opportunity that you've seen. So the easiest transition is to say, I have this business today, but I have seen another opportunity that I want to invest in. So you start saving within the business that you have. And you start planning that in the next 2 to 3 years, when I graduate, I will go and invest into this opportunity. So that opportunity that you've seen, there has also to be a plan. Have you saved money to invest in that other opportunity? Why are you investing in that opportunity? Is it more bringing in more rate on return? Is it a better idea? Is it serving a bigger market? So you assess again and say, if there's another opportunity that I've seen, what plans do I have in place at this level that are going to help me to implement the next opportunity? So the transition has to come in with consideration of how much money do I have, how much have I saved to invest in another opportunity, or am I closing this business to start another business, which is also okay. You may decide maybe this business is not working well. I'm going to sell off my assets, sell off the business, and start a new opportunity. So that transition, you have to assess, get advice, learn what lessons have you learned that are going to help you in the next opportunity. Okay? What are the key characteristics of students on micro-entrepreneurship in order to become professional entrepreneurs? So like I said, this is a learning process. Once you start small, you learn. You learn throughout the business that you're carrying out. So you keep learning, how do I manage my business? Is my market increasing? Is my clients increasing? Am I taking feedback from clients? So all the things that you're doing as a business person at the micro level, they're helping you to learn, to keep moving, okay? So for you to become a professional entrepreneur or to reach a certain level is because you've started small and you've kept on growing and increasing your capital and saving and you're reinvesting. Then it makes you more professional entrepreneur, but also with a bigger business. So it is a process, it is a learning process. Gates Simbi Stella, my question is to give me an idea that I can do to earn money fast. To earn money fast, that's already a mistake. How do you earn money fast? If you want to make money fast, that's when you start making mistakes. Yeah. So you have to go systematically, start small, step by step. But if you want to make quick money, then it is likely, it is big, exactly. So it seems if you're following, somebody has said betting. But if you want to really start a good business, you can't expect to earn money fast, because if you go in a business with a mindset of earning money fast, then you're likely to fail, because your focus is earning money. And most likely you invest in the wrong place because you want to earn money fast. So don't start by thinking earning money fast. Think, what is the right business? Where am I setting it up? For example, does she want to set it at Lisedo Kichukiro, Kwishuri? Is it around the school? Is it within Kichukiro? You know, so all those are things that she needs to consider to be able to do that. But still, you can give her some business ideas. So,
business ideas.
She wants some business ideas.
To gain money fast.
Could you say, the opportunity? No, not to get money first, to do business.
Nishchan.
Nishchan. So selling some donuts. So Isimbi, Simbi, not Isimbi. Selling some donuts, students will eat them. Hmm?
She can save money.
Yeah, she can save money.
So you see, there is many opportunity. There is something they supply at our schools. So if you have an idea of on the way we say they are part of Kishichiro, you see there are students who live in boarding schools.
Yeah.
So you see they need some item like for hygiene, soaps. You may have an idea and you learn how to make soaps. Because you are there student, you can ask for the market, you can start supply. Even you can have some pottery, like you have some hens.
Yeah.
You get those eggs and you supply to their canteen. And even other product you can buy from outside. And you come, you sell in the school, you supply to the canteen for the school, or even the property they need in their life where they're cooking, and you give them to the lower price, and they will accept you as a good supplier, like you are connected together because you start there, and they will be like opportunity they give to their student because they are building your future and make you grow, and also they also gain something from you.
That's a good one. So, Simbi, since you're looking at Lycée de Kicukiro, then look at what opportunities are there, the things that the school needs, the things that the students need, and how much money you actually need to start the business. So those are some of the things. And then we have Inosa. I like Inosa. He's a very interesting student. He's been asking a lot of questions and very interesting ones. So now, Inosa is asking, how does location affect SWOT? Do you know what SWOT is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Strength, wealth, opportunity, and strength.
Okay. So how the location affects SWOT in micro-entrepreneurship? Strength, rural is equal to less competition. Urban is more customers. Weaknesses, rural has poor roads or internet. And then urban, high rent. So this is a very good point because, yes, usually you do a SWOT analysis at a certain level of businesses. Most of the time, yes, even though at the micro level you don't do a very comprehensive SWOT analysis, but still you look at who are your customers, how big is likely to be your customer, what strength is there in the area where you're going to start the businesses, if it is a service, do you need an office, how much is the rent, if it is a product, how much is the cost of transport, maybe delivering it to, if it is Lycée that you're going to, so all those things you look at them. So the SWOT, what the SWOT helps you is to identify where the location, the inputs you need. Do you need internet for that business? Do you need good roads? Do you need rent that is limited, like houses that are not very expensive? So other things have to be put in consideration. So when you want to identify a location where to put your business, you have to think, am I being located in Cyangugu and supplying things in Kigali? How much is going to be the transport? But maybe the product you're supplying actually ni Cyangugu niho biri. So kuza gufungura offices inahangaha usanga ugwenda ntacyo bimaze. So you can only deal with the transport. But let's say you're doing maybe you're supplying at Lycée. You don't want to be supplying things at Lycée when you're based in Chibungo.
Yeah.
That's too far. So maybe you want to be based here. So all the things that you have to consider, you look at where are you going to supply, who is going to be your client. If it is a virtual service, maybe it is internet-based business, you can be anywhere. As long as, but then you have to consider, is there good internet in that place? Is there good internet infrastructure in that place? So the location really, and the service you're going to provide and the product you're going to provide are determined by all those things that you put in your plan. You know, do I want to work in Kigali at the clients mainly in Kigali, or do I want to go to the rural area because that's where the clients are? Maybe if you're selling, if you're giving out tractors, maybe you're hiring tractors for agriculture people. All the agriculture is done outside Kigali. So maybe you want to be located outside Kigali in the other provinces. Yeah.
So even you have to see if the location, like you say, you are in a rural area, they say there is some strength and the weakness. Somewhere in urban area, somewhere, for example, you live in a rural area, you say in urban area there is where there is more customers, but you have to analyze and see and make some research and see if in a urban area, if I can get a profit for 30,000 per month, and in a rural area I get 50, but you already remove all the expenses. And in the urban, you remove all expenses, but you're left with the short money. But even in the urban is where it is moving so faster. Doesn't mean that the money that come, let's make it clear in our mother tongue. Amafaranga yose aje uko ije yihuta ureba uruhande rwa nyarwo uho ruhagaze uko ntago bivuze ngo kubona amafaranga vuba hari igihugu usanga nawe uri guhomba ariko wibwira ngo uri gucuruza aba customer ni benshi ukibwira ngo ati nibwo ndi gucuruza ariko ushobora gusanga iyo muri rural area ariho byiza kuko bituma ayo mafaranga make ubona nubwo aba ari inyungu yaje mu bihe bitandukanye utabonye abakiriya icyarimwe niyo meza kurusha yandi wagiye ubona ari makenya bigize inuza kandi bishobora no kugushira muri risk ugasanga kuba utatuye inzu bongeje umushahara bongeje inuza rent n'ibindi birakaze ariko mu gihe uri muri rural area bishobora kugufasha bikagufavoriza mu gihe ukiri small business ushobora gutangira aho ngaho no nyuma wamara kuzamuka kwa aribwo ubonye izo expenses zose ushobora kuzikavaringa ukabona kwimuka ukajyari ariko ufite ifatiro ikintu cya mbere uhera hato gake gake ntago ari impamvu yo kututangira ngo uhite uvuga ati ngiye kutangira hejuru gake niyo ngendo.
Yeah, you're very right. So those are the things that when you're starting out, you have to consider, you know? Yes?
Okay, teacher, I have a question. Why do sometimes we find people with less resources or few resources make money more than those which are high educated or which have more capital?
So being able to make your money work for you, there's a slide we talked about being literate, being financially literate, being able to ntago kumanaging amafaranga bisaba waminuje cyangwa umuntu utarigeze ukanajya no mu ishuri ashobora kwiga the basics of managing their money and they actually become better than the person who thinks they are very educated. The reason is because they've thought through their business, their small business, right? Somebody has decided that they are going to buy a bicycle and be transporting people's things somewhere, maybe in Nyamata. Sibyo? And me, I decided to buy a bicycle because I want to transport things here in the city of Kigali. Who is more smarter? The city of Kigali doesn't. First of all, many roads don't allow bicycles on the road. So which means I am limited in my business. There are areas that I can't go to. Because they can only stop at a certain point. Yet the one in the rural area will carry things from the whole house. Transporting. So their business makes more sense because that is the easiest transport in the rural area to carry things and people. So it is the easiest way to make money if you're going to make money. So it may not be as the person here ushobora kubona ko yakwenda muri Kigali bihenze igari rivuye hanu kajya handu wenda baraguca 300 uriya we acijana, but they are making more money because maybe it is the only mode of transport that is easy and that is affordable. So it depends on how you assess which small business you're going to start and how you're going to start it and where you're going to start and where your clients are and where it makes more business. Umumotari mu mujyi wa Kigali ashobora gukora amafaranga kurusha uri mu giturage because muri Kigali niho abantu bafata moto cyane kurusha wenda mu biturage. So it takes you to assess and say the business that I'm going to start, who am I serving? Who are my clients? Does this business make sense for these people or it doesn't? Taxi vatiro mu mujyi will make more money than the one in the rural area because here there are more clients. So it really matters that you assess the business you're going to start, where you're going to start it, why you're going to start it there, because that means you've seen that it's needed. So that's why some people, they'll make money. Kuchisenyirangara mataraza ngachingure restaurant. mu mujyi niho abantu birirwa bari mu offices bagenda barya n'iki n'iki, but do you know what, he is on the road, ari ku muhanda unyuraho amabisi yose abantu baba bajya hano na za Musanze. So every bus will stop there, somebody will pick something to eat from there. But if you brought that and put it somewhere ku muhanda wa Kimihurura, ushobora kubwira ngo ntabwo byemewe. So every business has to make sense for where it is. That's why everybody who is trying to start a business, that mindset of trying to assess, which is the SWOT analysis, you need to do and see where is it that I'm making a huge impact, more impact, I'm bringing services that are needed and that people can actually afford. Kandi nyizani mugihe kuko abantu bayikeneye, you know.
Is there a business that a person can win big and lose small?
Win big and win small.
Can win big and lose small. As in, if you're going to like have profit, it's big, loss is small.
Yeah, they're there. So you know, for example, I'll give you an example. During COVID, because we were in lockdown, we had there was an issue where people that could not afford food had to be given food by the government. Sibyo? Bakahira ibishyimbo, wenda ibirayi, imiceri iki, and they distribute food around homes z'abantu batishoboye. Who do you think was supplying those foodstuffs? Bibaza ko babigura. Leta igira ikigega cy'umuceri? Hari ikigega cy'ibishyimbo igira? So hari abantu b'abahinzi bari bafite ibyo bintu.
I thought yuko leta ikorana muri stock yayo y'igihugu.
Stock ni amafaranga, ntabwo ari ibikoresho. Ntabwo leta igira ibigega by'umuceri n'ibishyimbo. Ni abahinzi nibo babigira. So abahinzi borozi bafite ibigega babikamo ibigori, babikamo ibishyimbo kugira ngo they supply a certain time igihe bikenewe. Sibyo? They were also giving eggs. Batangaga n'amagi igihe runaka. So, which means that there were suppliers of those things at that point in time. Ariko ntabwo ari suppliers bari bo bose. Ntabwo leta yahagurutse ngo ijye mu isoko cy'imironko ngo ujye kurira. No, they looked for suppliers who had those things in bulk, in big quantities. So you can imagine, for somebody who was seated in COVID, akazi karahagaze, adashobora kujya guhinga, adashobora kujya gute, ariko afite ibyo yahunitse. Ni ukuvuga ngo that was an opportunity for them to actually sell to the government at once. Kuko leta yari ikeneye byinshi, wenda n'ibindi bigo byatangaga ku bantu batishoboye byari byinshi. So they were buying in bulk. That person made a quick win. They made good money at that time. Ariko iyo uza ko nta COVID hari, process yo kubigurisha shwa ko yari kugenda gakeya. Kuko there are so many others who have them, and obviously have opportunity for a big client like that who needs them to supply to so many people at that point in time. So it depends on the opportunity. Sometimes there's a time an opportunity comes, and let's take another example. I met a school like Research need computers at one point in time. Maybe they have built 5 labs that are new, and they need new computers. So the person who wins that tender to supply computers met on a daily basis ashobora computers, but not necessarily in that big amount. Akagira gutya akabona ikiraka cyo gusupplyinga 5 labs, maybe bakeneye 500 computers. So that particular project needs to be delivered. There is money to be paid. When you supply, immediately you make a quick win. So the losses are limited because nobody sounds good in that business. That's number one. But you don't necessarily get that opportunity to supply so much. So you get so much money at one point that helps you maybe to even ayo mafaranga ashobora kugufasha gutangirira irindi duka rinini cyangwa to be able to supply other people which you would not have generally gotten. So most of the time, cyangwa construction, for example, reba nk'ubu ngubu za stade zacu, uribaza nk'iyo construction company ishobora kuba yarimaze nk'imyaka nk'icumi cyangwa nk'itanu itarabona ibiraka bingana gutyo, kubaka arena ukubaka n'amahoro. That's a lot of money. So you get that in a period of 5 to 6 years. Ukubaka stade nka zire ebyiri, nubwo utakongera gukora indi myaka you're still surviving, right?
Yeah.
So it's businesses like that where opportunities come once in a while, and they actually have a lot of money and lots of budgets. If you take the person, the company that is building our international airport in Bugesera, that's another example. Maybe they haven't built an airport in 10 years. Maybe baheruka kubaka nk'iyo muri like in the last probably 10 years. So they're getting another big project maybe after 10 years. That's a good opportunity that they will have to use at that point in time, make more money, and you know the resources that they use don't necessarily make them make a loss, because they've already planned, they know how much it's going to take, they've already gotten the project, they know how much money they're going to make. And probably after that, it will help them to get another big project as well. So that kind of scenarios, they help you. So if we learn the basics of starting and scaling a micro business, we've already understood that you have to identify a business opportunity. So there must be, and by the way, every business opportunity, every small business that you start, it is coming to solve a certain problem. Business is somehow hari ikibazo burimo gukemura cy'abantu. Nukuvuga ngo you have identified ko hari abantu bakeneye ibiryo, you have identified ko they need cleaning materials, you've identified maybe they need computers, you've identified they need something. Whatever small business, you've identified a problem or a need that you're going to solve. So that is the first step, identifying the problem and coming up with a solution for it. Start with what you have. The little skills you have, the little money that you have, the resources that you have around you, whatever it is that you have with you is what helps you to start. Keep it simple and focused. Okay? Ntuhuzagurike. Hari abantu utangira iduka akabona Blaise nawe yakubise hariya moto ati nanjye ngiye kugura moto. Niba Blaise aguze moto se ngiye kukinayigura ukaburi rukanze niyi ngiyi utarayi. Wabona yafunguye ka printer hariya, he's printing for people papers and things like that. Utikariya garakora nanjye ngiye ugafungura. Wasanga gurisha telefone hariya, you have to be focused. First deal with one. Yes, you don't know what plan Blaise has. So you can't just do what other people are doing, you know. So you have to think through Yahweh, say what, look at what it's going to do. If you want to do what Blaise is doing, first find out how is it working. You can even learn from the person who's already doing it. But don't just wake up and do something. First get focused on what you need to do. Planning, like we're saying here, have a plan in place of the basics that you want to do. And that means the budget, how much do you need to start with, what will you charge, you know, what considerations do you put into charging and making a profit. So that means you have to look at what are you investing, what are the costs of producing that product, and how do you end up putting a price. Location, Javindi, you know, Yawazaga, where will you operate from? Are you based at home? Are you by the roadside? Are you online? Yes, uri mu rugo cyangwa wafunguye iduka mu mujyi, you know, things like that. Then learn how to manage your finances. We mentioned that. Have marketing and customer service skills. If you don't have them, get somebody who can help you, or keep learning on the job. And then think of how to scale your business. You know, once you're able to manage your finances, you put all these things. So this, when you look at all of them, this is the system that we're talking about. This is part of building on your scale up. So when you're doing all these things, you're putting systems into place that will help you to scale your business. And then, have you started making profits? Are you able to save, reinvest your profits to buy more stock, to buy more goods that you're selling? And then be able to learn from your challenges, you know. And resilience, so being able to, when situations come or issues come, how do you manage them?
Assess them.
Yeah, be able to assess them, be able, so be able to deal with them and learn from them. And then as you scale up and as you grow, you get to meet a lot of other legal and operational basics. Legal means, you know, are you dealing, is your business legal? Are you working in a legal manner? Changwa uri mu manyanga? There are businesses that have very, very specific legal actions. Let's say, niba ufite business y'ubuvunjayi yemewe n'amategeko. Hari steps ugomba kunyuramo kugira ngo ikorwe. The National Bank has to approve, and you have to have a certain way of working. So, which means all these things you need to consider them. And then the operational basics. How are you operating? What tools do you have that help you to operate? If it is a business that has scaled, do you have a system? You're under revenue, utanga EBM, we should imisoro kujihe. All those are things that you have to consider. And then make sure that whatever level of business that you have reached on, it is important that you're always positive about your business. Of course, challenges will come. Ziraguhungabanya, you will think you want to close, you feel like nothing's going on. But remember, you're not the only one in business. So always think you're not the only one in business. You're not the only one doing that business. Business and they have actually scaled and moved on and become big in businesses. So you always have to have that positive mind of, where am I going wrong? What am I doing wrong? How can I improve? Who can I learn from? Then you're able to. So basically, stay where you are and use what you have so that you can be able to scale your business. Okay? At whatever level it is, at whatever level of scaling you've reached at, even if you have not yet scaled. So do not, bese ntabwo ucika intege. Ibintu byose tuba turimo ntabwo ucika intege. No mu mashuri dusaba kudacika intege. Siko bimeze? Yeah. So before we close today's session, do you have any questions? Yes.
So, what is the difference between making money and building wealth?
Money is part of wealth. So when you're building wealth, wealth could be in cash, it could be in capital assets, it could be in anything. So wealth means assets and actually cash. So money is part of the wealth that you have. You are kubaza bati ubukire bwawe bungana gute? Ureba amazu ufite, ukareba ubutaka ufite, ukareba imodoka ufite, ukareba cash ufite, ukareba computers, everything. So that is part of the wealth. So cash is part of the wealth. Yeah. So today you're good? See you next Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your interaction and listening. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible. The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible.